Hey there, hi there, ho there. We are in the very frigid temperatures of Herman the Camper. And there it is. Mercury is just at 50 degrees inside the van. The outside is just a couple degrees cooler, about 46 to 48, standard thermometer. And so what we're looking to test today is the Sterno test for an RV. Can you actually use it with any particular efficiency to heat your van? And why is this significant? And it's because, well, most of you might be saying, well, 50 is not bad. Um, you know, but when was the last time you slept in it? And yeah, you can do jammies, that kind of thing. Put on your sweats, your long underwear, etc. And in, those of us from Florida and hurricanes, you find out that even candles, if you've lost power, actually generate a lot of heat by themselves. So, what could something as modest as a can of Sterno do? And you might be asking, why would I be doing something so modest? Well, it's because if you're camping, right, and it's cold, we'll say that the morning temperatures when you get up are in the 40s. We're going to assume that you are wearing the appropriate number of layers and have brought the appropriate blankets or sleeping bags, etc., even though it's in your van, to keep you warm at least overnight. So we're assuming a situation with no power, you don't have a heater that you can plug in at the campsite, that kind of thing. What does it really take to keep you warm? Because there's a lot of things like propane stoves, and they come with varying price tags and varying fuel requirements and things like that. So, if you're trying to be basically self-sufficient, what are we talking about here? Like, what would it take to do that? And I've seen some Sterno experiments before, but they were using them with things like rocket stoves or clay pots and things like that, trying to do the idea that radiant heat is better than just letting a flame do its thing. And what they found was, through some of these videos on YouTube that I've seen, is that if you were to put some of these radiant, quote, collectors over a Sterno or a propane flame, that it does exactly that. It collects it, and it really doesn't radiate it a whole lot. So taking the hurricane example of just having a bunch of candles out and generating a lot of heat, except then it really sucks because it started at 80 some shit or 90 degrees even at night, and then you add candles to it and it's suddenly super hot in your house and you can't run the AC because you don't have power, right? So if you're in a camper, what you usually really need to do for heat, depending on where you're camping, so I'm going to say right now, I'm assuming Florida camping, which means that you really need to insulate yourself overnight, and then do what I call make it warm outside the blankie, because we all know that you're sleeping and, you have, your sweats or sweatshirt and, a couple blankets and stuff like that. But as soon as you get out of that, it's cold as hell, right? So, what is it going to take to kind of warm up the space, even if it's just for 15 minutes? So, you can get dressed, brush your teeth, whatever, get ready for, your day and not be freezing while you're doing it. And okay, so what did I say we were at? 49, 50, whatever. It's not exactly freezing. I should have actually done this last night when it was 42 degrees. And the idea is to just see in a cold condition or cold-ish condition, what would the Sterno do? And then the other cool thing with the Sterno is that you can take its lid and it will more or less, almost immediately put itself out, right? Um, the other reason why is, and I've already, just in case, got um, my little camp stove with the propane burner just sitting there. It gave me something to put the Sterno on where I knew it was going to catch on fire. But also as a backup, because keep in mind, even in your house or apartment or condo or whatever, the simple act of cooking generates heat. So I've got some soup and some coffee. Tonight is too late for the soup. Like I said, I was going to try and do this either late last night or early tomorrow or early this morning when it was much colder out. I don't need the soup now, but we'll do a quick decaf coffee maybe. But just cooking offers heat. So if this doesn't work, then the backup is to hook up the propane stove and see how long it takes to actually hook up the van. So now I've actually been talking for 6 minutes. And let's take a look at the thermometer. We've actually gone up 12 degrees. And this thermometer, so I'm going to go straight down so you can see there's no shenanigans going on. Straight down the wall. This is still in the general vicinity of the Sterno. And I'm actually sitting, this is not a big van. This is a 1997 Dodge Ram van 2500. So, I'm literally like 2 feet in front of this flame. And I can say that I can feel that it has, in fact, warmed up already. At about, 13-ish degrees. So, one of the things I might do in a few minutes is take that thermometer and actually put it next to me. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that now to see what this really looks like. There you go. Like kind of here on the sofa. And we'll see how long it takes, because that's almost at 60 degrees now. To kind of heat the space. And I've got 2. So if I have to light the second one, I can do that. So again, you might be asking yourself, well, why not just start with the stove? And that's definitely, obviously an option. Like I said, if, depending on where you are in the evening or morning, it may be good to, and don't worry, for those of you, you're going to die of carbon monoxide. These doors back here have actually cracked, so there's ventilation. Don't worry about it. We're not we're not gonna die. And that's a good thing to talk about. So there's a lot of van lifers, or even just recreational RVers that have the carbon monoxide detector that's inside the van to make sure that they don't die, which is very important. Let's not die. So we're okay with this. And it's one of those things that if you do this, obviously crack a window, crack a couple of windows, whatever you got to do. It's just, like if you were living up north, and you have the inside kerosene heaters, crack a damn window. That's what they all do. But I want to see what, if one burner is okay, what does 2 burners do? And again, so why would I not do the propane? And the reason is fuel, and differences in fuel. So if you take away from this canister, that means that you're also taking away from what you can do with that canister, right? And actually just, to prove a point to those of you who might be getting a little nervous about this, I'll even crack the overhead vent, okay? Just so y'all are okay. I'm not gonna die. If you're traveling, the the fuel that you're using. So everything costs energy. Even though, like, behind here, I have my accessory batteries that runs, like the lights that you're seeing, and the refrigerator over here, and the light that's over my shoulder, and the fan for the vent, and, the big fan that I have, and all the other stuff, if I have my laptop, whatever, that's running all these things. If all you want to do is heat the space, why are you going to take from that capacity? If you can just hold up basically a couple of super candles, and I've been talking for 10 minutes now, that might heat the space, then why not do that? It doesn't take, these things are cheap, and they don't take a lot of room. And let's see. There's a Mercury so you can see it. So we're still at roughly 60. Which is still, good. And, keep in mind, 60 is, that's, you really don't need much more than a hoodie. So I'm going to put it back kind of over. This is my kitchen area, by the way. So I'm going to put it back here just to kind of get a better idea of, the area for the sterno. So I think this has been going enough. It's 10 minutes, actually 11 minutes now. So I'm going to go ahead and light the second one. And we're going to see how fast it takes to actually warm the space. And my opinion is if it takes much more than 15 minutes, then this really is not, it's not suitable for the heating usages, at least of this van. Maybe if somebody was in a smaller car, etc., that might work. And yeah, so those of you who are interested, we are at just about 60% humidity, so it's damp. So even though you're like, oh my god, quit your bitching, it's like 61 degrees, it's damp. Like, the 61 degrees sucks. So yeah, so we're still in the van. Let's see, we're at 12 minutes and 30 seconds. So we're going to give it another 3.5 minutes and see what difference the second sterno does. And then, of course, the other thing that I like about the sterno is that when you put their little lids, those guys, back on, they, count to 10-ish, and they extinguish. So, they're pretty easy to turn on and off. And again, all we're doing, like, we're not trying to make it like balmy and tropical and, Hawaii in here or anything. We're just trying to, if you were camping and it was, chilly out and, you're getting up and you just wanted to make it warm enough so you could change clothes and stuff like that, and you weren't like, chattering your teeth and stuff, would this take the edge off at the very least? Would I camp with this when it's like, below freezing or something? Probably not. I don't think that these little sternos would do that. But, again, we'll see what they can do. So, all right. So again, here they are, my kitchen, and actually we're getting almost up to, let's see, 70 degrees almost. So we're going to take this again and put it on the sofa, which is like a whole 2.5, 3 feet behind me. We're going to keep an eye on that. 2 sternos might be the thing, because I don't know about you, but I can definitely change in 70-degree weather, wash my hair if I had to, whatever. So maybe 2 sternos is the deal. We got 2 minutes left. We'll see what these guys do. And again, a little PSA. This is open flame. Even if you have a Mr. Buddy heater, that's an open flame. I mean, it's a propane burner, basically, when you get to the brass tacks of it. You have to keep a window cracked. You have to have a CO2 detector, to make sure that you don't die. It's the same thing if you're running candles. And even if you decide to run this little propane stove, because this is my quote kitchen area, if you decide to turn this guy on, and for, it's bad weather outside and you can't cook outside for, maybe it's raining, snowing, or whatever. Cooking does generate heat, but when you have an open flame, it's also consuming oxygen. And, so open a window or, crack a door, do something so you don't die. Because, we don't want to die. All right, so we're at 15 minutes. And here we are again. Thermometer right against the... So, all right, so and actually the mercury went down just a hair, a little bit. That's sitting right here on the sofa. So again, so that you get an idea of how much space that really is, right? So we'll pan out from the thermometer and then look, like it's looking at the floor. Here's my 2 feet. And then there's that. The burner. So a total, 4-ish feet or so. And you have a couple of degrees difference. But I can tell you, just sitting on the sofa in this area, and keep in mind, again, because we don't want to die. Yes. There's the windows and the doors cracked. So, the vehicle's not sealing in heat like it maybe might normally. So I would say, overall, this would more or less take the chill off. Now, as far as heating the vehicle, unassisted, I guess it kind of depends on your tolerance. And, if you were like sleeping in long johns or whatever, because at the end of the day, we still raise the temperature about 13 to 15 degrees. So that's at least enough to not feel quite so bad about getting out of bed. So I'm going to shut these up, and then I'm going to heat a cup of coffee and see what kind of difference that makes. All right, so see you soon.